I think I'm ready. I think I've blown my nose enough times to get through the broadcast.
Good, yeah, good.
Proceed.
Go.
That concludes the personal messages. We continue with music.
That's the wrong soundtrack, Angus. Do you want to just roll with it anyway? We'll play them the other way around.
Let's start on the outro.
Why not?
I can't do it. No, I can't do it.
We're human, we make mistakes.
No, we don't. Yo. We totally didn't play the wrong music.
No, it was, that didn't go well, did it?
Yeah, my head is elsewhere. I'm full of cold.
You're not feeling very well today.
No, don't say that. I've just got a cold.
Yeah, you have a cold. Or, bird flu.
Yeah, I might die before the end of the week.
I hope not. If you give me bird flu, I'm going to be very angry.
Yes. Right, welcome to Start for 10. He's George.
He's Angus.
And we are back.
Again.
With an episode.
Back at it again.
Yeah.
That's quite apt for today, isn't it? Because that was Vine. Was that a Vine or was it a
I think
Snapchat?
it was a Snapchat. But Vine died today, didn't it?
Yeah, Vine died
They
today.
killed it
That's
today.
why, That's why I thought it was apt.
Very apt.
Apt.
Oh, I see what you're doing there.
Apt.
I see what you're doing there.
Oh, fantastic.
Right. You had a good week.
I have.
Good. What have you been up to? The usual. I'll answer that for you.
The usual.
Yeah.
Got my hair done.
Yeah, I got my hair did.
Got my hair done.
You've now, as you said to me already, you now have more hair on your chin
than
you do on your head.
I actually have more hair on my chin than my head. That is what has happened. Now I have.
I'm quite jealous of that. My beard at the moment is very trim.
Yeah, but only because you went all out for your New Year's Eve.
Yeah, but I've
mustache.
trimmed it since then.
Yeah,
because I didn't want it to look unruly.
Yeah, but no, it's smart. You've gone for the 5 day stubble. 5 days stubble, I think.
Yeah, only 5. You do realise this is not 5 days for normal people.
No, but
that's only for us.
It's 5 day stubble. It's fine.
Super freaky hairy men.
Yeah, no, that's fine. That's about 5 days.
Yeah, it was like that for me as well. But my dad, this would take him 5 years.
I couldn't live without a beard anymore. I just couldn't. I'd feel naked without a beard. Yeah,
it was quite cold. It was weird. I felt a bizarre sensation of wind passing past my face.
Yeah, I don't know.
I felt very slippery and streamlined.
Ah, good for cycling.
Yeah.
That's good.
But though, interestingly, when Bradley Wiggins did his hour record, they actually did some research that they think actually having the beard may have disturbed the airflow and actually made you quicker.
Interesting.
Yeah, but he still shaved it off anyway. Yeah. Anyway. Yeah.
Well, there's a fact to start of a 10.
A weird little fact for you there.
That's good.
Right,
nice. So,
fade.
Drinks today.
Today is brought to you by. Let me get the music.
Oh, we really need to buy a soundboard, seriously.
Where's that music gone? Oh, it's this one, wasn't it?
I don't know.
Oh.
This one. Today is brought to you by.
Today I've had a menthol lem sip.
I had a coffee.
Yeah, I made Georgian a black Americano out of the coffee machine,
which was really nice.
Yeah, and we've been eating.
They're over here. They're 18 chocolate caramel shortcake bites from the Co-op.
Yeah, we've nearly polished them all off.
Yeah,
they're quite nice actually. Makes a bit of a change to crisp.
They're good.
So, barring I don't pass away during the week, we will be back on crisps and beer.
Yes, we will. We will resume normal progress.
Right.
So, what's our start of a 10?
This week's start of a 10, we're going to Venezuela.
You know that's not in Africa, right?
I know, but I couldn't do a Venezuelan accent.
It's kind of Spanish, I suppose. It's South America, isn't it?
Jose Vargas Garcia.
That's better.
A woman has been caught trying to smuggle her boyfriend out of jail in a suitcase. Yes, you heard that right. In a suitcase.
Oh, great. In Venezuela. What was he in prison for? Do we know? Do we know
Let
any
me
details?
get to that.
Oh, sorry. That's a ridiculous question when you've only just read the bloody article.
Antonueta Robles Salawidera. I can't do the voice.
No, I think that was good enough.
She's 25 and her 6-year-old daughter went to visit her boyfriend, Jose Vargas Garcia, who was serving a 9-year prison sentence in Venezuela. While there, she put the man in the suitcase and attempted to sneak him out. When she tried to walk past the guards, she struggled to push the suitcase, which prompted them to search the luggage and led to the discovery.
Wow.
Sauda was arrested and Garcia was again placed behind bars, while the little girl was taken into temporary care of local social services. That's all the details we have.
So the thing is that I'm actually quite acutely aware of Venezuelan law, believe it or not.
Are you?
I have an uncle, yeah, so we won't get into it. And basically the penalty for breaking someone out of prison is 10 years.
So she's going to be in there longer than he was?
Yeah, that's exactly right, yeah.
Sorry.
You can imagine it, though, a stupid law like that.
It's quite funny. The suitcase is probably with inside the British Airways hand luggage capabilities.
Oh, dear. Wow. That's impressive. That reminded me, I saw recently there was a woman tried to smuggle someone into Morocco from Africa, or something like that, or Spain from Morocco, something like that. Exactly the same. It was like it was an African migrant. And she put him into her suitcase and tried to just like wheel him in. She drove. She didn't take a plane, obviously, because they'd have scanned it and it'd have been obvious. But she drove in and they pulled her over and checked the suitcase. And yeah, there was a man in there, just this like African immigrant man, just in her suitcase.
You'd be so cold if you went in a plane in the suitcase.
You would probably get hypothermia. Yeah.
Well, there's all those people. Do you remember when there was that string of people over the summer a few years ago in London who kept on falling out of the landing gear as planes were approaching Heathrow?
No.
This man landed on the roof of the Not on the High Street offices, obviously dead.
How did he fall out?
He's tried to stow away inside the wheels on a jumbo jet.
Where did it come from?
I'll find the news story now.
Must have been somewhere like Africa or the East or something. Somewhere where migrants are trying to get in.
Onto Not on the High Street.
While you're doing that, there was a man in the 80s, I think, 70s or 80s, who shipped himself to Australia.
He'd come from South Africa, 11 hours.
South Africa.
And he landed in southwest London.
Was he? I suppose he was already dead, probably, wasn't he?
I don't think they know. Wait.
He must have been.
The news story is plane stowaway falls to his death. Yeah, he was dead.
But yeah, there was a guy I think it was the 70s. He worked at Heathrow, so he knew I think he worked at Heathrow, so he knew like how things worked. And yeah, he put himself into a shipping container, and with the help of some friends, got himself by the little help from your friends, got himself put onto an aeroplane, and flew to America and stopped in Delhi. They stopped in Delhi and took him off of the plane, and then put him back on the plane. Seriously, I'm pretty sure this is what happened. And then, if I'm remembering it right, and then he wound up in Australia, got out of the box when they landed in Australia, got off the plane and ran like away from the runway and over a fence.
And he actually got away with this.
And out, yeah, and yeah, he's like a legal citizen and everything. Mental. He'll find him online.
What?
Yeah, he shipped himself to Australia.
That's
So,
mad.
if you're poor, there is still ways to get around for free.
I remember reading a story about, those like jailbreaks they do, where you do a charity jailbreak, you're allowed no money.
Yeah, they do it with universities.
Yeah, and you have to try and see how far you can get.
Yeah, that's right.
This bloke, I think it's just the wording that sticks with me to this day. He essentially managed to get his way to the Channel, and then he did what he recalled reverse immigranted his way from the UK onto the continent. He got to like Marrakesh or somewhere. He got the whole way.
So he went backwards as an African immigrant.
Yeah, he managed to get back down and then have his photo taken with a paper.
What?
Like within the 48 hours allowed.
That's
and all that.
Mental. I thought because I remember it happening at Exeter once when I was up there. There was some people fundraising for it, and I tried to think to myself, how would I get abroad? I couldn't think of a way that I'd do it, like in that period of time, with no money. And the point is, along your journey, you're supposed to raise money, aren't you, as well?
Yeah, well, it depends how serious you're trying to get. If you're just trying to go as far as you can without raising money, you just make friends with a trucker.
Yeah, you could do that, actually.
And then
you could get quite far in 48 hours.
And if you could just sit in the cab And
You
just
could truckers
somewhere.
they could get you get pretty far in a cab. I found this man, the man who posted himself to Australia.
It'd be so boring though.
It was in the mid-60s. He was an Australian athlete. Reg Spires found himself stranded in London with no money to buy a plane to get home. Desperate to get back to Australia in time for his daughter's birthday, he decided to post himself in a wooden crate. I swear he worked at Heathrow. He'd come to the UK to recover from an injury from javelin, Tokyo Olympics.
Was he hit by a javelin or
I don't know. He was a javeliner.
a javelinist?
Yeah,
A javelist.
Oh yeah, he took an airport job to earn some cash. There you go. But his wallet containing all his savings was stolen.
That's a shame.
And he said something worked out. He worked in the export cargo section. There you go. So he knew about cash on delivery with freight. He'd seen animals come through all the time and thought, if they can do it, I can do it.
That's so mental, isn't it?
Yeah, so him and a friend did it. Blah, blah, blah. Built a specific crate to fit him with straps and stuff. Look, there's some straps just in case it got rolled around.
Oh, what? So he put like a waistband and 2 arm loops in there.
Yeah. So
It's
he'd stay
not
in
very-
place.
Put it this way, it's
Yeah.
not a very pleasant way
No,
of
horrible.
travel. How long did it take?
I don't know, I'm going to try and get there. I don't want to read it all. To avoid any suspicion that a person was inside, the crate was labelled as a load of paint and addressed to a fictitious Australian shoe company.
That's mental.
Mental. And there's a picture there of what he would have looked like in the box.
Yeah, his body position is bad.
A 24-hour delay in the airport in London.
Oh.
And let himself out of the crate once the plane was in the air.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. Otherwise, you'd get such bad deep vein thrombosis.
He had 2 plastic bottles, one for water and one for urine.
You don't want to get those confused.
Peed in a can and put it on the box.
I always thought, like, oh, is it possible to post yourself? But the fact that people have done it, I reckon you could actually do it quite comfortably if you put yourself inside a Maersk container. You know, one of those,
Yeah,
like,
you could do it in that. Yeah, definitely.
MAE, like you see on a container ship. You could just rig one out like your front room.
Yeah, you could.
Like, I mean, this room here is about the same size as the inside of a container.
Yeah, actually, it probably is. You could
And
get
I mean,
a
it's
sofa,
pretty plush. You
TV.
could get a sofa, TV, some leisure batteries, bit of Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
Just post yourself around the world.
Yeah, you could. I was right about him stopping in India. He stopped in Bombay, where the baggage handlers turned him upside down on the runway for 4 hours. He took off all his clothes.
Was that related?
Yeah, because he was so hot. And then blah, blah, blah. He heard the Australian accents when he got to Australia and was just so happy. Yeah. 3 days travelling in a wooden crate. But still had the challenge of getting out of the airport. There were some tools, so he just cut a hole in the wall and got out.
He got...
There was no
He
security. He put on a suit out of my bag, jumped through the window, walked out onto the street, and thumbed a ride into town. What a legend!
The thing about
There you
that
go.
is, the thing about that is he thought through like a good amount of it, but a huge amount was still left to chance.
And luck, like so much luck he had to not get totally. Well,
And also-
he'd have been arrested probably.
And also, he didn't know he didn't know that the flight conditions would be all right. Like he could have just.
But that's what he thought. He thought, well, animals come over all the time. If they can survive it in the cargo bay, so can I. It must be freezing in one of those in a cargo bay. It must be.
Yeah.
Like freezing.
Yeah, crazy cold. Like minus
whatever.
however minus 20 or whatever.
Yeah.
But then it's not going to kill you. It's that cold.
And I suppose he'd be in a box, which would be quite warm. I don't know.
And I don't know what the thermal
He had
properties of his box were, but
Well, they used elm instead of oak, and it has a higher thermal resistance. He did have a blanket though.
oh, did he? But
It was the 60s, Angus.
oh, was it the 60s?
Yeah, 1964.
Oh,
So it wasn't as cold back then, because
I had
global
this
warming
dream
wasn't
that
so
he'd done this
bad.
in 2010.
No, 1964. So the global warming hadn't kicked in yet, and it was much, it wasn't as cold.
But if you were a baggage handler and you realised there was a bloke inside a container, I'd just let him out and be like, fair play, mate.
I would. I'd knock on there and be like, do you want another bottle of water?
Yeah. Do you want to come out and go to the loo,
Go
mate?
for a piss?
do you want to go use the facilities?
Are you okay? Yeah, but you'd lose your job if you were ever caught.
Yeah, but so what? Fair play to the guy for stowing away. Absolute
commitment.
Hero commitment.
Yeah.
And he was a javelin thrower.
He was a javelin thrower, an athlete, yeah.
That's kind of a cool job anyway. I can't remember quite how I found it the other day, but I was looking at... there's this like African dude who throws javelin and at the Olympics. And you know like how normally as they do their like sidestep run up and they throw it, they obviously remain on their feet. Mm-hmm. This guy does not.
He just fully goes for it.
He throws himself to the floor with it. Let me find his name.
Has he got any world records or anything?
I think he is actually the world record holder. He throws.
Why? That's what they're missing out on. They need to throw themselves.
He throws it so far
with the javelin.
Julius Yego.
I need to see a video.
He's a self-taught Kenyan.
Oh, you can learn to be a Kenyan.
No, he's not yeah, fair play. Here he is.
Copyrighted.
Oh, it doesn't matter. He's throwing a 92.72. And he's taking his run up. He's a big bloke.
Yeah, he looks big.
His biceps about the same size as his head.
Yeah,
the scale.
He's huge.
And look at this.
Oh my god.
The commitment. Throws himself. Yeah, he quite literally did chuck himself.
Crikey.
He goes into
into
the lead by like 4 meters, which in that game is so far. I then remember...
That's full commitment.
This is the same YouTube rabbit hole I went down. 5 crazy javelin throw accidents. Right? You know the little man in the straw boater hat?
Yeah.
Who walks around at the 80-ish meter? Uh-huh. There's a video of a guy just getting speared.
Where? Where was he speared?
Like through the chest. It's honestly savage.
Was it like the Olympics or something?
Yeah.
That's brutal.
So he throws it, and it just gets him in the chest.
Oh my...
It's just sticking out his chest.
Flipping heck.
I appreciate we're in audio format, and I've just shown George a video.
Yeah, it's true, sorry.
But, yeah, basically...
Did he die, or...
No, he just pulls it out.
Yeah, that's what you're supposed to do when you get something stuck in you, right?
Absolutely not. You're supposed to leave it in.
101, if something's stuck in you, yeah, just pull it out.
No, you're supposed to leave it in because it bungs the hole for the bleeding.
Mate, pull it out, wet paper towel, bit of Sudocrem, job done.
Apologies.
It is a well-known fact that a wet paper towel will prevent infection.
A blue paper towel, though?
Yeah, not green.
Is it the properties in the blue paper towel?
Yeah, it's the blue. Blue is antibacterial, which is little known. That's why the bags of ice were always blue as well.
Oh. I was listening to the radio earlier and they were talking about giving somebody bumps, like throwing them in the air.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, Mum, when we were at school, they did that to me. Threw me up in the air. And we did this thing once where we called running the Gauntlet, where you got like 10 people on either side and you had to just run through the gap while they kicked you and tripped you up. And I did it. And somebody tripped me up, and I landed I just absolutely ate it on the top and skidded along. But I was only about 2 weeks after I'd had surgery, and it ripped the stitches on my chest, and to the point where my blue school T-shirt had red on it from my chest.
I don't remember that.
I do. It was truly harrowing. I go to see the lady in the glass box.
Yeah.
Sure enough, wet paper towel, bag of ice.
You'll be fine.
You'll be fine.
He'll be fine. If only she was Irish.
Send him away. Perfect. Send him away with a bag of ice and a blue paper towel.
You had to be special to get a bag of ice, though. They were very protective of it.
Yeah, you had to have a bleeding chest wound.
And they specifically told you not to eat it. I don't know why. They must have put... I think they lied. They just said they put something in it so you couldn't eat. You didn't just eat it.
It was extra cold ice.
Oh, wow. Yeah, school injuries. I was lucky. I pretty much got through unscathed. I never got any serious injuries.
I had some weird things.
I did run. I was running or walking across the court, the big court, and I was in year 7 and a sixth former, they were just playing football and a ball just flew straight into my face. And I think I was out cold for maybe just like a second because I woke up on the ground. Do you know what I mean? Like you don't remember how you got to the ground.
Yeah.
That was quite... Had a bit of a headache. But I was lucky because if it had been like my jaw or something, it could have been a lot worse.
I was that kid who always got kicked in the face. If somebody kicked a ball, it always hit me in the face.
It was in your face.
Always. I was always the kid who got foul called.
Yeah.
Like rugby balls, footballs, you name it, I got it in the face.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had one of the worst things. We just used to take a rugby ball to school and then just pelt it around on the field at lunchtime. Yep. And I was chasing after the rugby ball and I was running, like sprinting, and my quad just decided it no longer wanted to quad anymore. Yeah, and I had
just go ping.
It went ping, and it was a real bad like quad tear. And everybody took the mick out of me massively because essentially I went down, I fell over like I'd been shot. That was really bad, and it hurt so bad. And then I went to like the walk-in clinic and whatever because I wasn't actually sure what the hell I'd done.
Bag of rice?
No, my whole leg went black. My leg went like bruised all on the area. It was quite bad. And it genuinely took me quite a long time to build up the muscles to be the same as the other side again. Like I had to think about what I was doing. It was right. I was just chasing after a ball. I wasn't very athletic.
And it just went ping. Weird.
I was sprinting as fast as I could, though.
You overdid it.
Awkwardly, I was sprinting as fast as I could, and the person I was running against was running about 70%.
It just proves, really, that...
My skeleton was going physically faster than my muscles could take, to the point that one let go, and he was on a gentle cruise.
Oh, God. It just proves, though, if anything, that you just don't need to exercise. Just don't do it. It's not worth the risk. You might ping a quad.
I'm not going to stand by and condone that advice.
No, I should do exercise. I find it very hard to get motivated to do exercise. There must be something I'm missing out on because I just don't know. I don't know what.
It's still always hard, no matter how fit you get. I've been in all states of fitness. I mean, like I've literally gone from walking up the stairs and nearly dying to being really fit, like really, really fit. And it doesn't matter, no matter when you start doing your exercises or your training or whatever you want to call it, it's still just as hard, but you either go further or faster.
Yeah.
Because to be making an improvement, you have to be working at that level to be hurting. So you have to get yourself to that point where it hurts. And then what does happen when you get really, 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 really fit? It's actually annoying because my exercises, my routines and stuff on my bike were getting really long. So to achieve any kind of workload that was like doing anything, it would take me an hour to get there to be achieving the thing. And you don't always have that amount of time. So then you shorten it down and do something horribly intense, like super high intensity intervals and things like that, which just make you if you are not careful and you tip over the line into, as I understand the more scientific end of it now, you tip into like working at your, pardon me, sorry, I got really bad like burps and wind, like it's anaerobic, the lemsip and the squash is repeating on me, anaerobic threshold and things like that, and even beyond that, like VO2 max, where you'll just be sick afterwards because your body is essentially working to that level. So that's not really plausible. You can't do that and then still go and do something the rest of your day. Yeah. So you can't really... It became actually a problem.
I feel motivated now to start exercise, so...
Yeah, you said this to me earlier, and
Thanks.
And you think that your motivation might be spending money.
Yeah, I think it is, because that's when you start actually committing to an idea. Because I think everybody has loads of ideas throughout life. They think, "Oh, I'm going to be a horse whisperer or something." And until you buy a horse, you're not going to be a horse whisperer. So I think
you could just hang out with horses, to be fair.
Yeah, there's lots of those in you now. But so the thing is, I think you need to commit in some way, and then you have to, because you say to yourself, "Oh, I've got to go out cycling because I just spent £1,000 on a bike or whatever," and then you kind of force yourself into that. Got to go and do it. But I don't know. I'm not sure if anybody has any input about how the hell I can get motivated. Tweet me. or
Yeah.
something.
I know what you mean. You have to want to do it for the right reason. You have to want to do it for you, though.
I do want to do it for me.
Then you surely you're motivated.
Yeah, I'm not though, because the thought of it makes me feel a bit.
Yeah, but it
but
always. But
do I watch Netflix or do I go for a run?
Yeah, but every day when I'm supposed to be doing those things, I know that it's still going to suck. And the worst is when you know what you're going to do.
Maybe I just need to start. Maybe that's the thing. Start actually doing the exercise, and once you've done that, then you'll get more motivation.
The first cut is always the deepest.
Yeah. First cut is the deepest.
I can't remember, what's that thing? How many times do you have to do something before it becomes habit?
Isn't it like 3,000?
No, it's not that many.
Because there's that serial, isn't there? 3,000 hours. You're supposed to spend 3,000 hours on an activity.
That's to master something, isn't it?
Oh, is that master?
Yeah, that's to master something. Yeah.
Master.
Yeah, that's to become like.
Yeah, I don't know
elite.
how many times.
I don't think you're looking to become elite at exercising.
I'm an elite exerciser. No, I don't
That's
know.
just what CrossFit is, isn't it? People who just got good at doing exercise. If it works for you,
their
though,
bodies to the
if
extreme.
it works for you, fair play. I love that. I remember I read an article about somebody who'd gone to it became like a thing where people would go to a CrossFit class, like their first one, and they'd work really hard, really, really hard, and then they'd end up with that ketosis thing where they'd essentially poison their bodies. They basically created such lactic deficits from their exercise routines.
Yeah.
They end up in hospital.
Yeah.
They have like kidney failure of sorts, to be honest. It's it's mad, but you do have to sort of respect and appreciate that whoever's putting on that class or leading it is damn good at their job, because they've G'd you up to get you to the state where they'll keep you going until they actually break you.
Yeah, they do. That's the problem, I think.
Which
when
is
you're...
slightly bad. It's almost its own worst enemy. But
It
the
is,
fact that
because-
somebody can make you do that, you've got to acknowledge they're doing a good job.
That is cool. The fact that they can motivate you. But I remember we did a few classes at school that were what was the bike?
Oh, like spinning, like X-biking or whatever.
Yeah, X-biking, which was Jesus Christ. And it's just like you don't. It's almost as if you don't have a choice.
Yeah,
they
that's the
tell
thing.
you to go up a level, or they tell you to do this, and you just kind of do.
Level 5.
Yeah.
Go on.
Like
90
scooter.
90 RPM.
Level
And you'll be like-
5.
and then you're absolutely and you just
Are you ready?
Yeah. And you just see people with puddles of sweat on the floor.
Yeah.
But then maybe that's the motivation you need. Maybe we get you to go to a spinning class.
Yeah, I think I'm more adult now, and I would just tell him to shove it up his arse. If
You
a
can't-
shouty man came over to me and was like, George, up to level 5,
You
I'd be
can't
like,
reason
shove
with
it up
you
your
can't
arse.
reason with the spinning class, man. The point is that you buy into it and you do it.
I'm happy on 3. I'm gonna cruise on 3.
Let me just cruise.
You go ahead on 5. You guys go ahead. I'll catch you up.
I'll catch you up when we have a drinks break. Maybe that's the way to get you motivated.
Maybe
Pay
force yourself into doing it.
or go to go to one of those really, really difficult workout classes.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know though. Classes are always difficult because they're mixed ability, and you don't, then you feel like that newbie who's like.
That's good though.
Yeah, you think.
Yeah, and also you won't be as bad as you won't be the worst.
Maybe you just go
there.
to like old people's class or something, and then you say, "Oh, I
What?
got the wrong class."
What? So you start going to daytime yoga.
Yeah, and then
Yoga
just
for mums.
do that, and then you'd feel really good about yourself
Yeah,
because you'd be performing at the same level as them.
or above. You become
No, not above, same level.
You want to excel. This is it. Your mindset. We've worked out when your mindset is all wrong for this.
It is.
Is this your New Year's resolution? Too late into
Maybe
New
I
Year?
should. I don't have New Year's resolutions, but yeah, maybe this should be
Why don't
my
you do New Year's resolutions?
I could never think of something good, and it just winds up being be more happy, and stuff like that, and that's just stupid. So, I've tried countless times to be less grumpy, and it just doesn't work. So,
Oh, you're doing it all wrong.
I'm
though.
a grumpy old man.
You're assessing you're judging your happiness all wrong.
No, that's not how I be happy. That was just an example.
Yeah.
But being less grumpy is something I should work on. Although grumpy makes me happy, so what the hell do you do there?
Well, yeah. Then if you're happy, you just have to work out what you want from your day. And sometimes
Yeah, but that's hard because
I got to the point where I didn't care how much awful thing. I didn't count the bad things. They don't get ticks in boxes.
Mm.
I only consider the
okay.
good things when I come to the end of my day.
I see what you're saying.
And as long as I have 3 things that have made me smile and 1 thing that's made me laugh, the day was a success.
Can one of the things that made you smile be one of the things that made you laugh? Yeah,
it frequently is.
Oh, great. That's cool. That cuts it down a bit.
And I mean fully laugh. Like, something that's made me...
Like, hilarious.
Something that's made me lose control for a bit and laugh a lot. Yeah.
Well, one thing each day that scares you, do you go in for that? You just, like, pretend to fall down the stairs every day?
Not something every day, but I do sometimes. I have pushed myself out of my comfort zone more recently than I probably would have before.
Well, I think that's good. They say that's good. I don't know why.
Well, because you end up, when you look back on what you've done for the last, like, 3 months or 4 months or whatever, you've probably done more exciting things or achieved more in that time, I think it would be. And you look back at what, would I have done that 4 months ago? Was I able to? Probably not. No, and that was because I took that risk or did something scary.
Do you know what we've turned into?
What?
We've turned into like a lifestyle pod. Like, I don't know, we can rebrand ourselves as Well-Being with Angus and George.
I don't feel that I'm...
How to get the most satisfaction out of each day.
No, I don't want to be that guy.
Do one thing that makes you ruffle-copter.
And I'm not saying...
And
not
2
that's
things
not going to work for
that
everybody.
make you smile.
That's not going to work for everybody. And that I wouldn't recommend... And that works. That's what works for me. That's my way of doing things.
Okay, yeah, interesting.
I would feel... I wouldn't be... It would be inappropriate for other people to take my word as gospel and attempt that. I would not feel comfortable with that.
I don't know. I think I could try and do that. I think that would apply to my life. One thing that makes me laugh and a couple of things that make me smile. I think I'm pretty much hitting that anyway. So that's
because it makes me act. Sometimes I have to actively seek out something that's going to make me laugh.
Yeah.
So therefore, you do something. You find
yeah.
Do
something. Look something up in a coffee break or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's a good idea. I think I have... The trouble is, I work in an office. Obviously, you know, but lots of people won't know. I work in an office, so 9 till 5, pretty much, Monday to Friday. So, and then I come home, and I eat, and then I just, like, veg, because I just can't be bothered.
The office has sucked your soul.
And this is something else as well, right? At the moment, I live at home with my parents, at the moment. And I find that that's one of the issues with exercises, because I don't ever have a chance to do it. Because I get up, I'm not very good at getting up in the morning. Okay, that's something I should probably try and improve on. I'm really bad at getting up in the morning. So I don't have any time to exercise in the morning. That just will never happen, ever. Never. It just won't happen.
That's because you get up at 8:35 to be in work at 9.
I do, yeah. And then I get into work, I come home, and we have dinner like pretty much straight away at home. So I can't exercise before dinner, right? So I have dinner, and then you can't exercise straight after dinner, so you have to give it a couple of hours. And then by the time you've given it a couple of hours...
It's 9 o'clock.
It's 9 o'clock, and it's like,
and the gym's
shut.
You were going to go to the
exactly.
gym,
I can't really go out. I can't really go exercise now because, like, you ain't got time. So then I wind up in this cycle, like, every day of my life. So that, I think, is part of the problem. But I think a huge part of that is making excuses.
You seem quite good at that.
Yeah, I'm just making excuses.
But also
I just need to bite the bullet. Go for it.
But no matter what time of day or night I contact you ever, whether I text you at 2 a.m., you'll still reply instantly. Yeah. And then you wonder why you struggle to wake up in the morning.
I do. I am a bit of a night owl. I can stay up all night quite happily.
Yeah, same.
Like, easily.
This isn't... I'm happy with, like, literally zero sleeping pattern.
I am useless between the hours of 8 o'clock and about 11 or 12 o'clock. And then I progressively get better. And actually, I find at work especially, I'm at my most proactive at about 5, which is great because I leave at 5:30. So I have like half an hour of productivity a day, and then I go home and I'm wired until like 3 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah. I do freelance work. I work from home, and then so I don't have anybody to ever tell me when to do things.
I like that.
It's very difficult. But then sometimes things work for me. Like if somebody ever wants to do anything, if anybody's ever got a time free or they want to go and do anything, I can do it. ever because I can just move my stuff around.
Yeah, you just move when
And
you're doing
it's
your work.
highly unlikely that I can't juggle things around. And also, some days I will work like... The other day I worked from 8 p.m. till 3 a.m. And that worked really well for me.
That's nice.
And then the
I like
next
that.
day I watched lots of Escape to the Country.
Oh, that's a great turn off.
Well, it's a very bizarre...
Put it on. Watch people buy expensive houses. It's great.
I've watched an awful lot of Escape to the Country recently, and I've started to realise that you shouldn't be allowed on it unless your budget is above, like, 700,000. Because I'm not interested in watching you try and buy a house in Dorset for
A two-bed cottage.
280,000, because that is not my dream. That's not the dream I'm aspiring to.
You're like the £1 million sort of mansion in the Southamptons.
For example, I watched one the other day. I won't bore you for ages on it. A couple moved from London. They had £845,000 to spend on their budget. And
where were they moving to?
They were moving to Dorset. So they're like, we've got 845,000. We want 4 bedrooms and whatever. They couldn't physically find them a house up to their budget they had. There wasn't. I don't think there was a
biggest house in Dorset.
I don't think there was a house in the whole of Dorset
historic house
that was close to their specification. That wasn't like
like a Tudor palace.
Yeah, because if you wanted to spend 800, you'd have to have 9 bedrooms and 4 acres of forest. Because that was the only way you could, and they didn't need that. So they wouldn't buy it anyway.
Brilliant.
So in the end, the one that they ended up like enjoying the most was only 600,000. They had 200 grand left over.
Great, you can buy a Lamborghini or something. That would be a terrible car to buy.
Yeah, but essentially, that really enraged me. But I did quite like the idea of them looking. I like the high end, but I quite like the show.
But that's what those shows are good for, though, because
it's just dross, though.
Yeah, it is. But it's to turn your mind off a bit, isn't it?
Yeah, I know. But I don't understand. I'm no good at working within the correct hours.
Yeah, I wonder whether I would be able to motivate myself.
It's a bit of a motivation special this week, isn't it?
How to get motivated, and we've given you no advice. I've just moaned about how unmotivated I am. People must have motivation. So many people that listen to this are students. They must have good motivation tips. I refuse to believe that they don't.
Motivational... Maybe like motivation. Maybe
tweet us some motivational tips how we should get motivated. Because me especially, not Angus.
I think it'd be a right laugh to do some motivational speaking. I always think it'd be proper funny to go. I would really like to go back in. I would really think it'd be super funny to go back into school,
like Jack Russell.
Yeah, or go back in.
If anyone ever had him,
go back in and speak like about. I don't know. I think maybe I could do it within like I could go back and speak to like a photography class or something which is in my industry, and how I've
an intimate setting.
Yes, in a smaller group of people. But what I actually learnt within school and what I've learnt now, that if I could go back and do school now, with my grasp on how I do things, now it'd be a totally different kettle of fish. But I guess it's one of those things, isn't it? People would sit and listen to you, and then they would take literally none of it in.
And then 10 years later,
they'd be like,
I really should have listened to that guy.
Bloody hell, he probably had a point there. If we'd listened and actually acted on those things, I'd be 5 years down the track. I wouldn't have had to make all those mistakes too.
Yeah, but we don't listen at that age. I think I'd just go in really over-enthusiastic and just be like the stereotypical kind of speech kind of guy that they're expecting. So, guys... Which one of you wants to be a pilot? You could be a pilot. You could be a pilot. You could be a pilot.
You could aspire for a 9-to-5 office job.
You are not going to be a pilot.
No. You're colourblind.
Just like the guy in the Reed adverts.
Oh, Jesus.
I don't know why they were all career choices.
One of the most heartbreaking... Last thing, I know you're telling me to wrap up. One of the most heartbreaking things I've ever seen was there's this guy who we went to school with who always said all he wanted to do was be a pilot. And he still thought he was going to be a pilot up until they were in science. And they were doing those, you look at those colours on colour backgrounds to see if you can see the numbers. And he's like, I can't see it. And that was the first time he realised that he had this sight issue that was essentially set fire to his dreams. And it just his whole world crashed around him.
Did you look at him in slow motion and in your head have Simon Garfunkel
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
As his face just dropped?
Yeah, his life is
Ben Affleck style.
his life is now not what I would call orthodox. And I'll
that
leave
can
it
be
at
good
that.
sometimes. Cool, we got time for a watch?
I haven't been following him.
Something
I
happened.
don't know what he's been up
something
to.
happened. I saw his face pop up the other day. Was it his birthday or something? I found out the other day something about him as well.
What?
He has a daughter.
Does he?
Yeah, definitely, because was it Shaquille O'Neal that went over there, or
Yeah.
someone like that, wasn't it? A few years ago? Yeah, no, it wasn't him. It was Dennis Rodman or something?
It was Stella Light, it was Dennis Rodman.
Someone like that. Confirmed it. That he does have a daughter.
Here's the intro.
Unwatch. It's time for Kim Jong Un Watch.
That was the intro.
Perfect. Yeah, that was a fact.
They're all telling North Korea keep telling Obama to start packing.
Well, yeah, because he's leaving.
He's leaving, but that doesn't seem much news.
That's weird.
Kim Jong Un they're building a new statue. They're
we love a good statue.
They're boosting his cult status with a new
Great.
statue.
Brilliant, just what we need.
Constructing yet another monument.
To Kim Jong Un.
On top of the highest... we need to stop playing one of these news articles where these videos play in the background. Last week, I listened back to the podcast of that deer getting shot and the girl crying. It's honestly quite disturbing.
It is disturbing.
Yeah, go back and listen to that. It was hilarious. It was the start of last week.
Do they have to drive like 5 miles an hour by again? Like
That was the last one. Oh, it's on top of an active volcano.
Oh, that's a great place to put a statue. Lots of people are going to visit that.
That news story was on the Telegraph. That's legit.
It just reaffirms the whole purpose of Unwatch. The sun.
Kim Jong Unki. North Koreans hooked on crazed leader Kim Jong Un's supply of hardcore drugs.
What? That's the sun, though. That can't be legit.
They keep referring to him as the tubby tyrant. That's definitely going to come back and bite someone.
I read something the other day as well about him, that apparently he intentionally put the weight on to look more like his grandfather. Because he used to be quite slim, but his grandfather was a bit tubby, so he put more weight on to look like his grandfather.
I
was a theory,
love
anyway.
these photos they always have of him stood around with other generals all laughing.
Oh, they're great.
He basically, it says here that this guy, they're all getting high off his painkillers, but surely that's not real. What's the deal on posting news that isn't real, though?
I don't know. I suppose it's the wording that they use, isn't it? A source has told us that...
Yeah, just the usual, really. He's just building another statue and
So
telling Obama to watch his back.
Un's being Un.
Another week of Un being Un.
Unwatch. That has been Kim Jong Un Watch.
That's the outro.
A little bit uninteresting, really, wasn't it?
It was. Do you know what I think? Have we proved our point yet with Kim Jong Un?
No, we have to. Maybe we'll just keep an eye on him and bring him in when he's done something awesome.
Not just more statues.
Well, I mean, awesome being terrible, but you know what I mean.
Shooting people with the anti-aircraft gun
anything
again.
like that. Yeah.
We're waiting for more murders, really.
Oh my god.
Essentially, we're waiting for murders.
That concludes the personal messages. We continue with music.
Right.
Crikey.
Interesting week. I think we found a better start this week. We got into
last
our
week
stride.
was an odd one to start with. Again, if you haven't heard it, you need to go back and listen because it was perhaps the wrong choice.
Yeah, we talked about suitcases. We talked about a woman getting
that's
busted
right.
for smuggling her lover out of prison in a suitcase. I'm going to attach a photo
Very
of that
intelligent.
on
What a
the
great
on the
idea.
Twitter and the Facebook or whatever because it's funny. So when you see
Ridiculous.
this,
And we talked about the Australian javelin thrower who shipped himself back to Australia from London.
and we talked about the person who fell out of the plane on the high street.
Yeah,
We
and
talked about this is javelin.
javelin for a bit, then
Kenyan
sport.
javelin dude, sport, George's lack of motivation
Yes.
seemingly for anything.
And everybody's going to help me with that.
Sport for a bit, and then we
Yeah.
talked about work motivation.
Yeah, work.
And then escape to the country.
Yeah, and then Un.
And then
Our good mate Kim.
Kim Jong Un. At least this week you can remember what we actually talked about. Because most weeks
That was good that we remembered that.
It's really hard.
I have such bad short-term memory loss. Seriously, I'm worried.
But I don't know if other people have ever talked to, like in a pub for 40 minutes and then sat there and tried to think about all the
No,
things that you
people
covered
have
on the
never
way.
done that.
It's
People
really
have
hard.
never done that.
Really, really difficult. Right.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, he's
I
been
think it's-
George.
Yep, he's been Angus.
I've had a cold. Sorry if I've had to blow my nose a few times and I've sneezed and I've sniffed and I've... but I'm...
Get in
all
touch.
good. Yeah, get in touch with us on Twitter, at Start for 10pod,
Yep.
on Facebook.
Yep.
Find that picture of the woman inside the suitcase. It's funny.
It's hilarious.
Yeah, or if you don't, just imagine a man like contortioned with his knees by his ears inside a suitcase.
A pink suitcase.
A pink suit, fluoro pink. Hand luggage size
Stabilo
suitcase.
Boss pink.
Stabilo Boss, yes. Throwback to the Queen Stabilo Boss. Boom. Right.
Cheers, guys.
Yeah.
Catch you on the flip side.
That's everything, isn't it? We've done all the bits we need to do, yeah? Right. I'll fade out. Pisto.